Hey everyone, Austin here again with another quick play. Today it's going to be Wardner for the Sega Genesis. This was also known as Pyros, I believe, in the arcade and possibly in other regions. And this is kind of an interesting action platformer slash arcade game. This was originally made by Toaplan in the arcades, apparently ported by Mentrix Software. I don't know if they actually did the conversion or if they were just a publisher. But yeah, we're gonna actually attempt to play through this game. For anybody new to this series, this is sort of a casual pick up and play kind of series where I just turn on a game and we kind of see how we do with it. Now, to be fair, in the case of Wardner, I did a practice run right before this. Well, I should say about an hour before this. I had some other stuff get in the way of the recording of this video, but so I am somewhat warmed up to it. This was actually meant to originally be a full-on Let's Play walkthrough where I have editing and pop-up boxes and stuff like that. But lately, I haven't found the motivation to do my proper Let's Play walkthroughs. So I decided to go ahead and relegate Wardner to the quick play format, where we just kind of see if we can play through it, and with very minimal editing and stuff like that. I'll talk about my own personal experiences with the game and, you know, tips and strategies I've sort of formulated along the way, trying to potentially get a Let's Play walkthrough of this game over the last couple of months. Yeah, this is actually a fairly short game. I think this will probably just take us about 20 minutes to go through. It's really short when you know what to do. But when you first play it, there is a ton of trial and error. It's a very, very memorization heavy game. And you have to be able to execute pretty much flawlessly, otherwise you'll just get steamrolled by the game. And, but yeah, I've played this game a lot in the last year, actually. I learned it for the first time about a year ago. And, yeah, so I feel like we'll probably have a fairly smooth run here. We'll probably die a couple of times if I don't do certain things correctly. But we will go ahead and just jump into it. Let's actually just hit the start button here. And I'll go ahead and let this introduction play out. It's for those of you guys that haven't played this before, it's an arcade-style game, sort of in the vein of games like Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts. It's actually very similar to that in terms of gameplay and trial and error and stuff like that. The game's not nearly as challenging as those, however, especially when you know exactly what to do, and I'll sort of explain exactly what to do as we go through it. You do get money in this game. You do get weapon power-up upgrades. You can also visit a shop in between stages. You can buy certain weapons. And here we go. We're actually into the game itself. This is actually a 2-button game. But what I like to do here in the very beginning is try to kill all the enemies I see, because they will drop potential weapon upgrades as well as money. And in the beginning parts of the game, I want as much money as I can get. Simply because, you know, I need to buy stuff fairly early on to make my life a little bit easier. Most enemies in this game, or at least the early enemies, die in one hit. These little yellow icons that some enemies drop, if I collect enough of those, they'll actually upgrade my main gun here. Or not really gun, but my little arced projectile. So yeah, I've got this game's route down fairly well for the most part. What you'll also notice is that I actually have a cape right now, and the cape is actually really important. It acts as a shield, and so it'll absorb one hit. Now, once I end this level, I get into my first shop. I can actually buy the thread, and the thread will actually give me an added hit with the cape. Now, we have some pretty kind of like nasty platforming here. You can bump your head on the ceilings and just get knocked straight down. Learning this game was actually fairly frustrating when I first fired it up last year for the first time. But now that I've gone through it a bunch of times, you know, I don't have too much trouble. Now, you don't want to get hit by the lightning, because, you know, I'll take a hit, unfortunately. Now, this first level is fairly strict on time, so you really want to try to rush through this as quickly as you can. We still have a minute left, thankfully. But this is our first boss. What he does is he will try to dash towards you, so as long as you're continually hitting him, he'll just sort of stay in place. And so what I like to do is taper my shots here. Notice that he's blinking very, very quickly. It's a very faint kind of blink. You might even miss it if you're watching the video at 30 FPS or something like that. But you notice that I can actually fire 2 projectiles right now. And that is because I got a huge yellow orb. That immediately upgrades your firepower. It gives you an extra projectile you can shoot. And as far as I'm aware, there's no limit. Now we have about a minute to figure out what we want here. So you have 3 different weapons to pick from. Don't buy any right now. The goal is to save up the 3,000 and buy the Magic of the Sun. It's basically like a focused laser. Extremely powerful. And if you don't get that by the end of the game, you're probably not going to be able to get past the final boss rush. But we already have the cape, but I want the needle for 200, which again gives me an extra shield hit, so I can technically take 2 hits before the cape goes away. And then I also have the magical clock, so this basically gives me extra time when my timer gets to 0. It doesn't give you a lot, it's like 30 seconds or something like that. Maybe a little bit more, but you still want to have it as a backup. When you learn this game and you get decent at it, it's actually fairly easy to get to the end of every level without running out of time. Well, minus the final level, the boss rush at the very end of the game. We'll see how we do there. If you didn't actually buy the clock, on an upcoming section you can actually take a lower route and get a hidden clock. What I'm going to do is fall down here, get some more money. Again, we're going to need up to 3,000 in order to get our laser weapon. So we're at 2,300 gold right now. There's going to be an enemy that spawns right above us. There we go. I actually really like this arced shot. It's actually quite handy. It's one of the bummers about switching over to the laser, because the arc shot is quite handy. But again, ooh, I took a hit. It's okay, not a big deal. There's going to be another cape at the end of this this level, so taking 1 hit there is not a big deal. We lost our thread, and that's okay. But we still have 1 free hit that we can take. And there's a lot of precision platforming in this game. I almost wonder if this game was influenced by like Euro designs, because games developed in Europe, they really liked their precision platforming, and I just took a hit, unfortunately. These those skull smoke things, you know, the timing on that is really tricky. But this is actually where you would find your other clock. But I don't really need it because I already have one. So, and now I can shoot more than 2 projectiles. I can shoot up to 3. Now, unfortunately, I lost my cape, so actually kind of rushing through this section is a little risky. And we're gonna go ahead and grab onto this. We have to press down before we run into. Oh no! I landed right into those spikes. That was bad. So it's okay. I lost a life. Not a big deal. My big worry is losing my cape. Because that'll make, you know, parts of the game much more difficult. But yeah, there's a lot of trial and error in this game, and a lot of memorization required in order to get through it successfully, consistently. And I'm not, like, super practiced right now. I literally did 1 run, and you guys don't want to know how many times I died on that run, despite being really familiar with the game. So, it's one of those games where if you're not, like, really well practiced, if you're not a really well-oiled machine at this game, you're going to die a lot. And that's just the nature of Wardner. So we basically have to just duck under these spinning gold things. I'm gonna go ahead and just wait. And what I'm gonna do is kill this guy. I'm going to drop down here because I want this this gold fairy. And what she does is she actually follows behind you, and if enemies touch her, then they'll take damage. So you can almost treat the fairy like a shield. And we have this boss again. So same thing as before, we're just gonna sort of keep a distance. As long as he's blinking, he will not dive bomb you. And this is actually one of 2 bosses. This is our real boss. Kind of creepy stuff here. It's really cool. When I first saw this, I was like, what the hell? That's some Japanese horror movie stuff right there, which I'm okay with. So it does a couple projectiles, and then it does this, like, fire blast on the ground. You just want to sit far enough back so you don't get touched, or you don't touch the fire blast. And after this boss, we're going to go to another shop, and we're going to be able to get our laser weapon now. And this is exactly how you want to progress through this game. So go ahead and get the laser. Let's go get it. Go ahead and get the thread, and we don't need anything else. We already have these items. So in the beginning of this first level, you've got these skull guys, and the fairy can actually destroy them. So what I do is I turn around and let the fairy do the damage. Otherwise, it's really hard to actually kill these guys with this low-level laser. But trust me when I say it's the best weapon in the game after this level. So I'm still trying to collect the little tiny yellow orbs. Again, after a certain amount of those, your weapon will upgrade. I don't know how many it takes, but it will eventually upgrade your weapon. And this guy right here, I want to go ahead and grab this little, what looks to be an ocarina. And we're going to jump. And there's going to be a bird that actually appears. And we want to actually jump and touch the bird. I think you have to get the ocarina to do this. And this will just take you to the very end of the level. You'll also get a weapon upgrade in the process. Boom, right there, just like that. And it actually just turns this level into a piece of cake. So, and there we go. Right in front of the boss. So this boss does a 2 projectile pattern. One goes low, one goes high. You just kind of jump and then, not necessarily duck, but you go under the one that bounces high. And here we go, another shop. We don't need anything, so let's go ahead and just exit. So at this point in the game, money is not that important. We've got plenty to end up buying another cape in case we lose this one. There are a bunch of different things you can do in this level or go and see, but we are going to avoid those. We're going to come on up here, and we can actually use a little trick by ducking and then jumping. You can actually get under little crevices like that. And let's see, let's go up this way. Again, I don't really need money. Now, you have to be really careful which ladders you take here, because some will troll you. And, yeah, like boulders will drop down, you'll be forced to take a hit. You notice that one fairy actually blocked one of his shots when I turned around. But I want to jump up here, and we're going to just drop down. There are very particular ways you want to go in this game. And I do believe I can just drop down here. There we go. Another weapon upgrade, because you can see my laser's a little bit longer now. It'll be really long by the end of the game. Like, we'll have a couple extra little, you know, bits of it added to the end. So I'm going to jump over here. And so I actually don't want to go down there. I want to go this way. It's definitely a very maze-like level. If you want to go the correct way to maximize your upgrades, this is what you want to do. So now we have a red dragon. You can duck his high projectiles. It doesn't look like it. They'll actually kind of like go through your hair as you're ducking. But now we can fall down here. And let's see how big our laser is. Look at that. Yeah, much larger already. There's going to be a boss coming up in a little bit where he actually drops a weapon upgrade. Now, if you don't have a clock, there's actually one down at the bottom right on the bottom floor. You can see it right there, but I don't need it because I already have one. Now, you've got these turrets. You can actually destroy them. But again, I don't want to like waste too much time, and I don't really care about points right now, so what I tend to do is just kind of, you know, bounce through these vertical sections as quickly as possible. There's a couple things of note on this upcoming section. There's some platforming. So we jump, we have to jump again, just like that, and then we jump again. If we try to just like fall down without jumping, we'll actually land in the spikes, and the spikes are instant death even if you have the cape. I think there's gonna be some little golems right here. A little difficult to see. It's like little blobs on the ground, and then we have another red dragon right here. But you see how powerful that laser is? We killed him like before he could even get his like first projectile out, or second, I should say. All right, so this guy does a spread shot, and where you need to be positioned depends on how high up the screen he does his spread. If he's really high like that, you want to just sort of sit to the back. If he's low, you want to jump at the back. I should say if he's high, you need to sort of like cut through the bullets, kind of like it's a shoot 'em up, if that makes any sense. So yeah, don't need any of this. Let's go ahead and exit. And that, I think, is actually going to be our last shop. You need to make sure that you don't lose your cape here. Otherwise, the final boss rush, you will end up losing a lot of lives on it. Now, we're probably guaranteed to get a 1 credit clear on this. We have 6 lives. We're going to get at least 1 or 2 more. So we'll kind of see what happens there. So decent run so far, but you know, it is entirely possible I can die again. So little secret here, you duck, do the jumping thing, just like with that early fairy. And then we can get ourselves an extra life right there, along with some time. And there we go, very nice. Now, I actually learned that by accident because of these guys. I'd hit these guys, and they'll push me all the way down past that fire. And so that's how I found out about the extra life. But I was like, how do I get out? And I just was ducking and jumping by accident and managed to work my way through. So that was complete, like, trial and error when I first learned this game. So let's go ahead and jump down here. Can't get that clock because I already have one. Go ahead and kill these guys. And we're gonna go ahead and jump. You'll notice that with a lot of these jumps, I have to be like 3/4 of the way off the platform. It's very similar to games like Mega Man and Castlevania, except even more strict. And a lot of memorization required again. I had to drop early there. I had to know that set of spikes was coming. Let's go ahead and jump over this guy. Now, the collision detection on some of these objects can be a little wonky, especially like that ground fire. And this is really simple right here. It's just the 3 ghosts fly up, and you just wait, and then you jump at the right time. And more fire. Let's go ahead and just let it stop, okay? You can try to rush through, but, you know, more often than not, by doing that, you're gonna end up actually hitting that fire, because again, the hitboxes are not great on that fire. You'll take a hit even when it doesn't look like you actually did touch it. So those little guys in the eggs, you have to actually hit them and they fly up, and then you've got to hit them again as they're going up to make them go up higher. Otherwise, you pretty much are guaranteed to take a hit by them. And again, I don't, you know, we don't get another shop, and so I want to make sure I'm not losing my my cape. I want the cape for the final level. The cape and the thread, preferably. That'll make my life so much easier, especially if I want to try to get like a 1 life clear. Well, that's not going to happen because I've already actually died. I died on level 2. So we're pretty much already blocked out of a 1 life clear, so basically beating the game without dying, which is fine. I've gotten a 1 life clear a couple times in this game. Again, when you know exactly what to do, because it's so memorization heavy, you know, you can actually get through the game somewhat consistently without dying. But there are probably 1 or 2 parts in the game that I am still inconsistent at, primarily on the boss rush. We have to fight level 2's boss again, but you're in such like a tight area that it's a real crapshoot as far as whether I beat the boss on my first try. Alright, so this guy, he shoots out projectiles, and the projectiles come out based on your height. So what you want to do is keep jumping, and then the earlier projectiles will just go over your head. And if a projectile goes low, you can just jump over it. But what's great about this boss is he gives you a guaranteed weapon power-up. So now look at our laser. Yeah. We're gonna get another one right before the final boss. But here we go. Boss rush. Now, this is kind of an interesting setup here. We got these things that bounce across the screen. We have to duck them. Very, very tricky section. We have to do this like 3 or 4 times on this this level. And this is why you want the laser. If I have my regular projectile here, this is pretty much impossible. Like, it's pretty much impossible. So you want to defeat this big golem guy, or this stone creature. And then you can just, you know, keep him from spawning those guys. Alright, so red dragon, same thing as before, nothing special here. And my fairies are doing good work. Unfortunately, this level, it's very difficult to get through this whole thing without running out of time. Especially if I'm bouncing my head against the ceiling like that, failing my jumps. You have to be extremely precise here, otherwise you are pretty much guaranteed to run out of time. So we're doing really bad here, actually. We're losing a lot of time, so we're probably going to end up dying on this last level, unfortunately. Which is fine. I have 8 lives now. I'm pretty much... I don't want to say guaranteed to win, but I've got a really good chance of still winning. Alright. This is actually a really long level, and it's hard to tell where you are in the boss rush, simply because everything looks the same. You got the same vertical platforming over and over again. I'm gonna skip that money, I don't really need it. Another one of these sections. Now, unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, there's... Oh, I took a hit. I got up too early. But another one of these guys. There we go. You can actually kill them really fast if you know his pattern. Alright, another red dragon. A lot of repeats here on this last final boss rush. I kind of wish like they trimmed some of that out. Like, why 2 of the stone golem sections? There might even be a third one. Why 2 red dragons? So, yeah. I do think they could have trimmed this down quite a bit. I don't mind boss rushes. I actually kind of like going through and fighting all the bosses back to back in video games. Especially if the bosses are fun and, you know, they don't take too long. But, you know, once you start adding multiple sets of the same boss, it gets a little tedious. Alright, green dragon. We want to actually stay at the very back wall and then jump his high projectile. Alright, falling down again. Alright, it's this boss right here I just cannot stand. So what we're gonna do is just hope for the best. Wow, we got it. Nice. So it'll corner you pretty quickly, and then you'll end up dying. Granted, I do have the cape. No thread, though. Oops. Ooh, I'm surprised I didn't take a hit there. I think I actually ducked under the low projectile? If that's actually possible, then I just learned something new. We only have 47 seconds right now. Oh, that's actually not true. We have the clock power up, so once time gets to 0, we'll actually get a little bit of time back. So it might not be the end of the world. We will see. And I don't know if you actually get your time, like, replenished when you get to the actual final boss. It looks like we just got an extra life. We're on A. Life number A. I haven't seen that in a while, actually, in some retro games. Some games do that when your lives go over 9. Instead of counting to 10, it actually counts to A. Alright, same thing as before. Yep, we got 30 seconds from our clock. Let's go ahead and drop down. More ghosts. I actually had this glitch out earlier, and it gave me, like, the sort of, like, Egyptian-looking metal things that bounce around. Alright, and final boss. Okay, nice. So what we want to do is duck. We actually got our time back. Duck, then jump his projectile. Just annihilate him quickly. Then he goes into his second form. And so for this, you need to dodge the first 4 projectiles on the right-hand side, and then jump backwards. So, just like that, and then hit him in his waist. Just like this. It's actually not too bad when you know the pattern. Your timing's gotta be, you know, somewhat accurate, but that's it. We just beat Wardner. And I think we only died once. So that was actually a fairly decent run. Much, much better than my practice run. That's why I did a practice run in this game, because I knew if I just went into it completely cold, I would probably get wrecked. It's probably been about a month and a half since I last played this game. Again, I had meant this to be a full dedicated Let's Play walkthrough, but like I said, I just kind of like lost the drive. I think part of it was that this game is actually very straightforward. It doesn't really... I don't know. It doesn't really need a lot of like focused tips. It's like, it's memorize or die. That's pretty much how this game works. So, you know, you're gonna have to learn by trial and error. And, you know, just learn from your mistakes. So, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick play of Wardner. I know this was actually requested by a few old viewers on my channel a long, long time ago. So I'm glad I finally got around to learning this game, getting through it, and getting it on my channel. Now I actually do have, assuming I haven't streamed it yet, as of doing this video I haven't received it. But by the time this goes live, I probably will have received it. I got the M2 Shot Triggers Tiger collection, as well as the Sami 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 or Fire Shark collection or Flying Shark Collection. I don't remember which one has it on it, but one of them actually has Wardner, the arcade game, along with a bunch of its home conversions. Like, I think it might even have the Famicom version. So what we're going to end up doing is probably streaming that sometime, and maybe I'll try to wait to stream that until after I post this QuickPlay. But that'll be like a month and a half after I do this recording, because I've got about 5 or 6 QuickPlays on the docket right now, ready to go. So, but yeah, you guys might actually see some other versions here on my channel soon, probably via a live stream with that collection. I don't remember if it's the Tiger Collection or if it's the Flying Shark Collection. I want to say it's the Flying Shark Collection that has the ports of Wardner and the arcade game on it. But yeah, watch out for that sometime soon. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other games you want to see me quick play, drop a comment down below and let me know. I'm keeping a rolling list, and I might not be able to get to all of them or even any of them, but you know, depending on my mood, I take a look at that list and kind of see if there are games I want to play in that moment, if I'm comfortable with them, or if I want to try to do them blind. But yeah, having a list is good. So, you know, shoot me some suggestions if you guys want to see anything. I may or may not be able to get to them, but yeah, let me know. So, all right, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I guess until the next one, take it easy.